Hello, today's talk's on nanotechnology, medicine, and fusion power. And what affects society? Well, sorry, what effect technology will have on our society in the future? What would happen if, to use a bad example, this is the only example I can think of, we had replicators. Now, of course, nanotechnology is not going to start off like that immediately, but it may build up to the point where we can produce almost anything that we desire. And if we have fusion power to generate that energy, which runs on the same principle as the sun, that is combining two hydrogen atoms together, uh, we can not only produce massive amounts of energy, but we can create perhaps even new kinds of atoms, new elements. And this means that the properties of those materials might be something that we can't even imagine at the present, to combine them down into nanotechnology. Now, what does this do to politics? Because a lot of politics um, is based on fear and is based on wants. Human beings in economics, it's said that human beings have infinite wants. But what happens when nanotechnology creates the nirvana of to use a bad phrase, of us having anything that we wanted? This technology promises so much. Now, at first, nanotechnology may be just something as simple as a card that you press down on, which will analyze the proteins in your blood to see if you've got cancer or some kind of virus or something like that, and it would perhaps instantly tell your doctor that you have this, and then it would go into your medical records. Your doctor would call you up, you come in, and another genetic sequencing, because of genetics coming together with nanotechnology, could be an extremely powerful device, because science, because you're combining the means of identifying what is wrong with the application to solve the problem. As I said in my other talk about the Western way of war, already robotics are being used in the military theatre, but robotics have been used for a lot longer in the civilian theatre, and that is something that I find is a really good thing. That sometimes it is very difficult to change civilian applications for something that was designed for civilian purposes into a military hardware. You're already seeing with keyhole surgery the application of robotics in medicine. Now, that's not nanotechnology, but nanotechnology could be used to build robots, and you could have self-replicating robots which would go around your blood and detect cancers and destroy cancers in your body. It could use simply the materials that we get from our food, the elements in our food, such as iron, for instance, which is in our blood, to replicate themselves. As long as there was like an inbuilt program that limited them, otherwise they could be as bad as the disease. But would this mean an end to politics? It means an end to perhaps hunger, to disease, perhaps not death, but certainly the kind of horrible death that people would have before nanotechnology. Perhaps life expectancy might be turned up to an average of 120 years, or maybe even longer. We don't know. All these things are on the horizon, and whereas they were just science fiction before, it's say in the 1990s, now they're becoming something that is real and is being talked about. And we it's going to completely change our world. Will the economy be run on the things that people love to do? I mean, people love to make YouTube videos about, and but it's not just that they like to make YouTube videos. They like to make YouTube videos about subjects such as things that they're interested in. People might have a passion for medicine, learning about medicine. They might continue that on as a hobby, as like the way that people used to use history now. Because if nanotechnology actually takes over the practice, the physical practice of medicine, then we will be learning more and more. I don't think medicine will actually die. It will become a subject like history, which advises the other subjects that are growing up. Our loves and passions in technology, will be enabled by technology, and perhaps we'll do the things that we are, our internal workings are telling us to do. For some people, that might be problematic. Their internal drive might be to be hunter-gatherers, which would not really fit in with a modern society. But then again, travel allows you to perhaps release yourself from reality. I remember when I went to the United States, and I was amazed by that country. The standard of living was double ours easily, and you left because you went on holiday. You liked holidays because you want to escape reality a little bit. The reality was that for like 4 weeks I didn't have to go to work, which was good because I was working very hard. All these things though are not going to make our lives perfect. We're still going to have the interrelations between human beings, and kind of like the baboons and chimpanzees who have food at hand all around them. They spend a lot of their time making each other miserable. But if you're a people person, and I think YouTube is often a way of advice for people to reach out, and they are people persons, to reach out, to communicate and spread joy through their videos, if you like. Now, is fusion power on the horizon? Well, I read New Scientist, and hope that doesn't make me a geek, but I read New Scientist, and they say that nuclear fusion is very close. The robotics, science of robotics is of course speeding up all the time, and this all really relies on Moore's law, because the things that we think we can develop now, we don't know what we could be able to develop in the future, because Moore's law is doubling technology and information every 2 years. It means that we might not have any problems with food production. Now, this is aside from nanotechnology and nuclear fusion, but an interesting idea came up in the idea of the forest garden. This is a garden with many layers, with food growing at the bottom on the floor, different layers of trees, and they can produce up to for 5 people an acre, whereas cereal crops can just produce for 1 person an acre, and so we're getting more food production. Of course, the problem with a forest garden is you can't produce cereal crops, so there will have to be some cereal crops. So this is a bit more of an optimistic video, and it's not to do with power and things like that, but technology may liberate and make us more equal, and I hope it does. So thank you for listening, and goodbye.